still my heart.
We all just kind of cram it in.
Sure.
Grab a seat, pull them wherever you want, as long as the camera's visible.
I've had my COVID shot. You?
We're all good.
Okay. I don't know about the old guys in the room.
Well, those are the ones you gotta look at.
It is a matter of mind. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter.
What'd they do, give you time off from the police station?
He's retired.
He's
about
not
time.
retired. He's working more than he's ever worked. He's got 60 hours in this week already.
Put me out.
Okay, we all good?
Okay,
Ready to go?
let's go.
Yeah, you retired because you wanted to. Yeah, good for you.
Okay, you can fire us up. Has it started? Okay, this is the meeting of the Lunenburg Water District Board of Commissioners, July 14th. This meeting is being recorded for rebroadcast on Lunenburg Public Access. So we'll start off by reviewing and signing the warrants. Can we set that thing up so we can get some music when we're sitting here signing them, at least?
I think the stuff we put on the lawn is special.
It's a town meeting, we get a whole, stuff to read and everything. Kind of like the legislature.
Yeah. There you go. Mitch McConnell's over there.
Mitch McConnell.
How's your wife doing?
Good. Thanks. Yeah,
I saw her, didn't I see a tent trailer or something out there?
Yes, that's our daughter.
Did you get in trouble with her? Or?
Oh, shit. She wouldn't give me something that good.
They're all the same.
Our daughter was
See?
going camping when we wanted to stay out.
I thought she probably wised up to you.
56 years, she hasn't yet.
Same woman?
Oh, no. 56 years, yeah. How's your bride doing? How's your bride doing?
I don't know, why don't you tell the camera over there?
Yeah,
She's pain in the neck sometimes, you know how they are.
I was going to use another part of the anatomy.
Oh, jeez.
She
Can they-
put away,
Can they mute any of this?
river cruise.
And I'm gonna turn the camera right over there while you guys sign the warrants, so we can see that.
It's the entertainment.
You sold your house, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Still trying
That's
to
all
get
just wait for
stuff
Yeah,
next.
yeah,
better.
Yeah. yeah.
98.
Oh, I might have missed one.
He was the kind of guy that made America what it is. Work,
Didn't help anybody who needed help, never wanted anything from anybody. You know, took care of his family and put me through school.
Oh, I want to see that again.
Did a lot of work at my house. And,
Yeah.
Are you the watchman? He said, yeah.
Hey, how about a little peace and quiet in the peanut gallery, please?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Seeing that we're all on TV.
I'd accept a motion to accept the minutes of June 23rd, 2020.
Espo hasn't read them yet.
Oh, okay.
Give me a minute.
The cat ran.
I went to Lunenburg, so it'll probably take me an hour to get through this.
Hour and a half.
Yeah.
thought there'd be more people than this.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's just getting kicked off now, so this is just presenting it to the board, so they can see.
Oh,
Then we'll have another meeting about it.
Well, they're gonna have a meeting to have a meeting about the meeting, and then another meeting. Right.
Before we push that forward.
All right, I make a motion to approve the minutes of June 23rd, 2021.
So moved.
second.
Second. Close.
Okay, any discussion? No discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All the warrants are done? We have discussed filling the new water operator position.
Okay, so we had two applicants. One of them decided he was going to stay at his current job, so we're down to just the one. I put more word out to other people to see if we can draw some other, so I'd say we just put it on hold for now, see what we can get for other applicants and go from there. So there's really nothing to proceed on right now unless you want to go after the one person.
I don't know if, when we were talking about salaries, if we were going to be able to meet the expectation there, so why don't we see if there's other things out there, and then maybe in the meantime, you could reach out to them, and, you know, we could discuss whether, how interested he is based on where the salary will be, because I think it's going to be well under what he asked.
Right, and yes, we can use Rob's pay as the guide.
As a guide, I would think, and see if there's an interest level, but still, at this point, I would like to see if we can still try to draw other applicants.
I agree.
Now, was he a municipal guy down there in Acton? I mean, are they under the same program we are?
Yes.
As far as retirement, so if we hired him,
Just his retirement, just move over. Yeah.
are we obligated to pay him his vacation?
No.
The same
No,
vacation, or is
no.
he
The
starting
only-
from scratch?
The only thing moves is
Retirement.
anything retirement that he
But
has
that's
in
all
Worcester
it is.
County.
That's all, they do it themselves.
Yeah.
So that'd
Okay.
be, I think it's
Yeah.
middle section.
Just,
so
his
it-
years carry over.
So that's why, that's why I was going to talk to him about where Rob was at now, but then there's still the basics that, I mean, we can't do anything special, we haven't, unless we decide to change it for everybody,
Correct.
so. Okay. Any more on that, gentlemen?
Nothing from me.
Okay. We have next on the agenda, discussion of the 40B submission for Howard Street.
Okay, so it's called, what's it called?
Pond.
Something about pond.
Pondview Commons.
Pondview. So they submitted an application to the state for 40B project. So the application is here. Paula Bertram sent a letter to all of you, and she made reference to some concerns, inaccurate things that are in the application. One of them I would agree with. One of them, it's just wording, different terminology. But we were going through their application, and one of the questions is the site located entirely within one municipality. So what does that mean? Is it the town of Lunenburg? Yes, that is true, yes. But we're not, the water district doesn't extend the whole municipality. The town doesn't go to the whole town. So I think it's not really an accurate statement. It may be accurate for the town, but not, we are a municipal entity, so, and he's outside of that.
Okay.
So I don't know, so it's kind of all right, so before we go too far, I mean, we'll make notes and stuff, but we have to write a letter with comments, and the town wants them by the 26th, submitted to the state by the 30th of July for comments. So anyway, so we'll make notes of these things. If you guys read this and, if you see any other things. But,
What else do you have?
We can print off more copies. I printed off the full application, and I can print off a couple copies for you. This isn't anything right now.
Right, this is, yeah.
This was just the original letter from the town to everybody. This was Paula's letter, and then this was a lot, so we were just picking.
So, yeah, so on Paula's section, she made a comment, section 2, regarding a new main. To her, it implies that there is an existing main that will be replaced, and it's just terminology thing. So if we stuck a new main down a new street without a main, we would still call it a new main. So I think she's just interpreting different than we would. So that one didn't really mean much. But the second one, section 5 in her letter, the budget's $4 million for off-site utilities. So that's for water and sewer. I don't think that's an accurate number at all.
No.
So I think, and if this thing ever did happen, we'd have to discuss the right way to do it. And to me, that's a storage tank, booster pump.
How about the sewer? Not that we're really concerned with that. John, I mean, you know better than the rest of us probably. What's it cost to run the sewer?
Well,
About the same as the water or more?
Probably gonna cost them $3 million to get the sewer down there. But why are we concerned what it costs? He's the one who's gonna pay it, and he's gotta give us a plan of everything he's gonna do.
Right.
I mean, I don't care if it costs him $10 million or $10.
But the thing is, he's got to design it correctly.
Well, the engineer's gonna design it. He
Right,
isn't.
but we need to approve it. And then there's a whole other thing, he's outside the district, so.
Yeah.
He's
But
not gonna get it.
none of that's up to us.
Yes, it is.
No,
Well,
he's
we-
gotta design it.
Oh, no, but if
Right.
he's in the district, outside the district,
Oh, I
that's
understand
you
that,
guys.
but the cost to me doesn't matter what it costs, because...
Oh, yeah, true.
You know, what do I care what it
But
costs?
this is what he presented to the state.
Yeah.
And that's the point of this, is
All right.
that it's not accurate. That's
So
all.
is the state gonna tell us that we have to supply them with water? Because,
Are we waiting for that decision whether,
I don't think they can, because the
Neither do I.
voters need to say we can extend it.
Secondly, on top of that, if I can jump in here, is the maintenance thereof that we talked about prior, that all of a sudden we figured it was about $5,000 a month to maintain that pump site, et cetera, like
Right.
who's paying for that, and, you know.
So other things came up on that kind of note. So the correct way to do it, you gotta boost the pump, because the whole area is higher than our
Right.
water system. So we need to pump water up there to a storage tank. Storage tanks need maintenance. So sometimes it's 15 years, 20, 25, you don't know. So let's say it needs maintenance. You gotta take that tank offline. Then what do? You have no water for anybody. So this isn't an easy thing where you put the tank and then you paint it and then you're all done, you know?
so hypothetically, yeah, my point of view on this is if we are actually told we have to supply him with water, because my view is he's outside the district, he doesn't get the water,
I think you're accurate.
okay? So, somebody's gonna have to tell us that we have to supply him with water, but hypothetically, I had been thinking about this, if we are made to supply that with water, if you have to take the tank offline, we have to maintain a pump station, I would want a well site along with it, because you're gonna wanna be able to produce water up there if need be.
See, this is
That'd
some,
be a good benefit.
So but this is all hypothetical, because in my mind, it's outside the district. There's gonna have to be a greater power that tells us that we have to do it.
I don't think
So I think
we were created by a legislative act. So
Right.
the legislature voted to create us.
right,
So how can some individual department, housing department, whoever the 40B people are, say that you're gonna run water there? So they're gonna trump the legislature?
no, because I believe in the 40B, that's the only power that we have, is that we were created by the state.
Correct.
With our own borders, so this is going outside of our borders. So, I don't know where you guys are at, but my recommendation is we do take our articles of organization, we take this 40B, we take the considerations from the public, and we ship them off to our attorney and have them give us an idea on what our position is.
Okay, and they're aware of all this. Everything that you guys have, they have. They already
Who's
have it. Coleman and Page,
Okay.
our new attorney.
Okay.
We got
see,
new attorneys.
you know what's going on, we've talked about this before, some of this. We're just making decisions that we don't even know anything about.
Exactly.
This is all gotta go to the state, this is all gonna wind up in court.
We still
This is
have,
gonna be up to us.
I agree, John, we still have to talk about some hypotheticals.
Yes, we do.
So that, we at least have this stuff
But that's
out in the
why,
open before,
Right.
something does happen.
that's why we gotta have a detailed set of plans and go
Yeah.
over them.
I think the intent here is to squash this before it gets to plans.
I
You don't
agree,
want
I
plans.
agree.
You want this
But-
thing dead, out of the water, and done. That's
All right.
it. That's my opinion. You guys make the votes, but
All
my
right,
opinion,
so-
this thing is squashed and dead.
So
And
what are we gonna
that's-
vote
that's-
on? We're gonna vote,
You're not gonna vote on anything.
We're not
You just
voting
gave
anything.
no,
your
we're
advice
just
on it.
reviewing it.
That's
Okay.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We got it to the attorneys, they're gonna present it back to us, what our options are.
right, so I was looking for you guys' input, that was my recommendation to Fran, is all this information should go to our council
Yep,
for review,
we'll wait to
with
hear
the
from
position that we have, that we don't feel that we have to supply water to this development.
Okay.
And for the reasons outside the district, and we could talk about the numbers if we really had to. I mean, Paula brought up some good points on the numbers. They're definitely skewed, and, what we would need to have water up there. So, yeah.
See, that's
I mean,
all,
so a typical, like a water main, if we did an extension, it's not just to get to where it went. It's looping, you know, because you can't have a 4-mile dead-end main, and now your water quality's
That-
bad, now what? You know,
that was my point.
Now we're paying to loop the main for water quality.
Right.
Well, however this thing's designed, it's not just to get water, it's the long-term. So we need to control, hey, if this thing did happen, maybe somehow you gotta loop it. So maybe heading into Fitchburg and looping back, I don't know, so.
Yeah, well, that was my idea on, you know, like we talked about, a tank. We got to have the redundancies because this is such a long dead end that I don't think, I agree with you, that just getting the water there is not enough.
Right. So there's a lot of things to look at. So this is hypothetical things. You don't really get the whole picture unless you throw out all kinds of ideas. You know, and this one just came up, someone was asking about tank maintenance and you know, how often is it? And that was what brought up, like, what do we do when we need to do maintenance? Then we have no water. Tank's down, they have no water, so then what?
They're gonna have to engineer it, so we can still supply them water when we got tank maintenance somehow. See, that's up to the engineers.
That's where I was talking about a well
But
site.
20 years from now, the engineers aren't gonna care.
No.
They're gonna have to deal with it.
We gotta do it before if it's ever installed, which I doubt if it's ever gonna be, it's gotta be on the plan.
Right. We do have some members from the public here. I don't know if you guys want to hear, if they have any questions?
One thing,
Or what else, yeah.
July 28th, 1 PM site walk. Okay, so I mentioned myself,
I can,
and at least one water commissioner.
Yeah.
You guys are welcome to tag along. We could post a meeting, but I don't think we need to because you guys aren't going to talk to each other and make any.
Where do you see July 28th?
It was on an email.
Oh, because I see July 8th, which we
Oh,
missed.
that's the
I
original.
see
Sorry,
July
yeah.
12th, which we missed. that we
Yeah,
didn't know
those
about.
changed.
Okay.
They pushed it out. So the
So
new
we
one.
don't need that.
The new one is
and what time's that site walk?
1 PM.
On the 28th.
What day is that?
And when are we
Tuesday?
supposed to have our letter drafted for
Don't know.
It said
Our
it had to be
response?
into the state by July 30th, and the
It's a
town.
Wednesday, John.
The town wanted comments
What's
by the
that?
26th.
It's a Wednesday.
26? And when is our council going to get back to us?
He said he was going to shoot before that sidewalk. I wonder if those dates are going to change, because we can't have the comments back to the town before the 28th. So I would imagine those are probably going to be changing too. So.
So you're thinking that the responses might come after the site walk?
I would assume.
Yeah.
Because we don't.
We don't know until we do the site walk.
Right. So, yeah, the plans are here if you want to see it. This is what's proposed. And so 3 pretty large buildings.
How many units total?
3 units total. And this
But
is-
how many?
200
200?
units, yeah. So this other plan is showing its entire property and how small the 3 units are and as to what is.
Now, there's no houses now?
Not in this phase. Who knows what the future's going to bring.
Okay, so he's submitting, I thought he was submitting still the housing
He could be.
with that reduced. Because it was
yeah,
in lieu
so-
of 19 homes was what this was going to be, was
Yes.
proposed for, right?
Correct. So, yeah, so he could be taking it off and still going full.
So what are you thinking as far as for the water district projected revenue for those 200 units a year in water usage?
Is Lon's place about the same down here, or,
These are actually bigger, so
oh, you got something to go by with his, probably.
I'm just wild guessing. I'd have to do the math, but probably 30 grand a year just from those.
That's it.
Peanuts.
Yeah,
When you get a
when you're talking, when we do tank maintenance, or we have tank maintenance coming up.
I think the tank's
The
going to
Chase
be...
Road tank, which is going to be much larger than what he would put in, but it's probably in the $1.5 million range.
So what do you think, he's at 400,000 or 500,000? He'd put in for a tank, or?
3 to 500.
3 to 5.
I would say, and that mostly tied to fire protection. You know, so let's say one of those buildings they go on fire, how much water they're going to need.
Right.
You know, have a standby. That's where the engineers kick in. And usually if the pump goes down that's going to feed the tank, usually you have 2 or 3 days of standby.
Standby.
Yeah.
So this is the only development before us now, the other one is gone.
I don't know if it's gone.
So,
This is before, so.
okay, I just didn't know, because, you know, if we're going to try to anticipate, granted, you know, we're going to look into this, whether we're going to even get that far, but We gotta try to anticipate all the revenue that could come out of up there if we're gonna talk about maintenance and
Right.
so forth.
And then you have the whole other side of things is a withdrawal permit.
Yep.
Now, we don't have enough to
Supply that.
supply all of that.
So, in our current permit,
Correct.
it's not a supply thing, it's a DEP
We have the
permit thing.
yeah, right. We have the capability of meeting the demand to feed that. Our permit says we cannot.
Right, because that was something that was brought up by Ms. Bertram, was our withdrawal permit, but all that is bumping up the permit,
Yes,
once it's approved, so that's not a big stopping point for anybody.
right, correct.
Okay.
That was all I had, so.
Okay, yeah, why don't we, if you guys are okay with it, we'll open up to some public comment on the issue to see if there's
Sure.
anything that we have from the public. Ma'am, I know you came in a little later. We did discuss, we are sending all of this information to our council for review. And right now, I believe it's my impression, and I think the impression of the board is this is outside the district, so we shouldn't need to supply this. There shouldn't, unless somebody, a higher power tells us.
Way higher.
Yeah. So, any comments from the public? Or questions?
What's the, I know Tower Street's the highest street in Lunenburg.
Yes.
What's the elevation of the tanks here versus up there?
I think the base elevation there, ground level, I think is
Yeah.
like 850 feet. Our overflow level of the tanks is 716. So he's 140 feet higher than the top of our tanks.
Right, so that's going to have to be, we were talking about a pump station
yeah.
would have to feed that. And I don't know what the engineering would be for that coming back if that changes the pressures.
Well, it'd be a pressure reduce or a check valve where that doesn't even feed. Maybe it just fills one way, doesn't come back.
Yep.
But it would definitely be designed that if something happened in Lunenburg, we could let it come back. And it would be a pressure reducing valve or some kind of flow valve, pressure reducing valve probably. But
Okay. There was mention that he would have to form a water company if, let's say, it comes to fruition. We don't have any water companies, private water companies that we supply currently
no,
in the district.
no.
Okay.
Our enabling acts, the acts created by the legislature, allows us to create intermunicipal. So like if we wanted to sell water to Lancaster or something, we have the ability to do that. It's in our
There was something
Regulation.
about setting up with a private water company, but we don't currently have any private water companies that we supply.
Correct. Yeah, so that would be a different thing. They could do it, but it's a whole separate thing than the intermunicipal, which is already set up that you can just do it.
Right. Okay. Do we have any other questions or comments from the public regarding the 40B? Mr. Rogers?
This is a very technical situation. I have done some research on this, and there are two schools of thought. So that's going to be set out by someone other than, the Lunenburg Water District or the town of Lunenburg. It's going to be on a state-run basis. Okay, so it's the thing that we have to do is make it very clear that the issue at hand is a request by a developer for the Lunenburg Water District to supply water to a development that is outside the bounds of the Lunenburg Water District. Point number one. Don't get suckered in well, there's all kinds of, there's rates and there's this and we got backup. We're not there. We're not there. The issue is very, very straightforward insofar as we are concerned. The way the rules and regulations were promulgated by the legislature, that's our really roadmap to how we run the district and what can happen and what can't happen. And in that, there is a procedure that if the area of the Lunenburg Water District is to be expanded, there is a procedure that is required that we do, and we've done that. Okay? So not only have we done it once, we've done it twice. And both instances, the vote of the Lunenburg Water District, the people that were here to vote, was negative. They do not want the Lunenburg boundaries of the water district to be expanded to encompass this area. So that's point number one. Okay? And I would strongly suggest that you call on a regular basis to your council, and this is case law, so they can check this case law like that, okay? Because it's all computerized, so that they need to be, well versed on what's going on and how we're doing this. The other thing that I would strongly recommend happen is that you write down and begin to compile all of the things that you have questions on, if and when this moves forward. And I wouldn't even discuss it in the response to the state or to the mass housing. This is your own for the next volley, okay? This thing is fraught with all kinds of really technical stuff, and they say the devil is in the details. Well, this thing is, there's all kinds of things, and I'm not going to take the time to give you my thoughts now, but I do have some strong feelings about this and some things that need to be discussed. Not the least of which is that Mr. O'Brien, I certainly don't want to speak for him, has talked about setting up another municipal entity and a company and all that kind of stuff. Well, we may or may not be interested in that, and so there's a whole host of different things. The storage of water, the tank. I heard, and it's just conjecture, I heard that he's also interested in like 120 houses. Okay? But this is just the 40B, so we've got to take this by step and step and step, and not to get, as I said, sucked into talking about stuff that's not even germane to this thing. Okay? So that's my 2 cents worth on this, but I would strongly urge you to really hammer away at council so that they are well prepared and well versed, and that they essentially compose the letter that will be sent by the commissioners of the Lunenburg Water District to make sure that they respond. With regard to the municipal thing, Fran, I don't know who said what, but we are a municipal entity, a quasi-public entity promulgated by the state legislature. Okay, so I would say this is not an adjunct or a part of the town. It's not. It's separate.
Right.
And that's the point that we have to hammer away. And this is going to be a Donnybrook. So get ready to rock and roll.
On a lot of the comments, one of my notes was the letter with the comments. Does it want to be presented from us or the attorneys, from the attorneys representing us?
I would hope that council would advise us on this, and I know that this process, I've done a little research, moves very fast. So
yes.
I would echo Mr. Rogers' sentiments that we are on our council, and I believe we're going to have a special meeting next week.
Next week, yeah.
I would see if we could get something from them by then to give us some direction for our site walk, and then I believe we have a meeting on the 28th, another regular scheduled meeting.
No.
That we don't?
Just next week. No.
Just next week.
So everybody's aware we have a meeting it was called because we're doing bonds for this new building, so we got to sign all the bonds. So we called a special meeting, we're going to call a special meeting for next Wednesday, 4 o'clock with the bank, and going to present all the bond paperwork and sign that. So but we can add to that meeting and talk about the 40B.
I would maybe say have this as a running agenda item for right now.
So maybe, who knows, we'll see if we can get the attorneys to show up and
Yeah.
talk to.
I know I just got an email right as I was walking in here from Brian with KP. We conferenced with him yesterday, and I read it really quickly, and I know he gave me a name of someone in his office that specializes in 40B. And I didn't get through the whole thing before the meeting started, but I don't know if she was going to reach out, but either way, the first thing tomorrow morning, I'll touch base with
Yeah,
him
we'll get
and
on
figure
it.
out.
If we can get
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have to physically come here, but if anything that they got or anything that they can start to give us so that we can start to compile it, and I also agree with Mr. Rogers that, you know, they should be involved in the letter that we do send to the town regarding our position on it.
With regard to, if I may, with regard to the question, who does this letter come from? It doesn't come from your council. It comes from the
It comes from
Lunenburg
us.
Board of Water Commissioners.
Right.
Now, the council can draft it and present it and make sure that you cover all the stuff, but the letter comes from you,
Right.
okay? And the point doesn't need to be said, but it's really simple. You know, this is our premise, this is what we're thinking, and what have you. And then they get all together. With regard to the interfacing with the law firm, okay? The responsibility of the law firm is to serve the Lunenburg Water District, okay? And to that extent, there's going to be a central person to be contacted, and that's who should say?
Brian Riley.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't talk to anybody else in the firm. He is the one that should be, you know, funneling all this information and know exactly what's going on, because you get convoluted and
Yep.
all this other
You
stuff.
said
Yeah.
he was going to research within his firm.
Yes, and that
Right.
he had just, I didn't
Yeah.
get into the full details of the email, but that he had someone in his office who specializes in 40B and was going to be working with her. I believe it was a her.
That's his job to work
Right.
with her, not...
Yeah.
Yep, no, he,
Right.
that's what they had made sure when we talked to him, that he is our main.
The last thing, and you know, there's ways that you can Zoom this stuff, rather than having all those people come out here, because all those people come out here, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Okay, so I caution you in that regard. They can, you know, just have the conversation with Brian, he
Right.
can do whatever, and just
That's what, I don't expect somebody to come out here, but some sort of information
Yeah,
on the direction that we're looking. I believe, as a board, we agree that anything outside the district is outside the district.
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Always has been.
Decision's been made, pretty
Yeah,
much.
that our boundaries are set forth, and
I agree.
that's where it is.
One of the things that, and this is the last time I'm going to talk, one of the things that you should be thinking about is the possibility of somehow getting the consensus from the Lunenburg Water District takers. Okay?
I think we've already done that.
Okay?
And I think we talked about it today, and I think we're taking their interest, and we agree that, you know, outside the district is outside the district.
Then
Our
I thought-
boundary is our
But
boundary.
the point is, I think the people, I should, as 82 Highland Street resident, I should have the ability to let you guys know how I feel about this.
Haven't you already?
Exactly, John, exactly.
But-
The point is,
But they voted no, and we agree with
John,
it.
50 people voted no.
And you only need the 50 to say no.
All right, that's fine.
Well, no, I'm
If you-
listening. Tell me what
No,
you're trying to say.
I'm trying to say that the more support that you get from the rank and file, the people that take the water, the better off you are.
So
It's
what
just not-
I'm saying is if we got 50 to vote no, which we did,
Yeah,
what's 60 gonna do?
no, I'm not talking about 60. I'm
I'm
talking about
talking about 100.
1,000.
We don't have a couple thousand.
Yeah, we do.
Well,
We don't have a couple thousand that'll show up at a meeting.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is if you had a postcard or something, they could send it in or get in touch with the email, some mechanism so that the people could speak
Some
and
kind
let
of
us
comment,
know.
yeah.
That's all.
Mhm.
Okay, I agree with that.
And just to build on that, you have people who are in the water district that don't take water, because the line doesn't go far enough. So if you reach even those people, you have a better chance.
Yeah.
Right. I agree. I think we got a good sampling from our meetings of what we feel the sentiment of the district majority would be. So, do we have any other public comment regarding this 40B issue? Okay. I guess we can move on to the next agenda item then. Gentlemen, you all set with the 40B for right
Yep.
now? Yep. Okay. We have Commissioner Superintendent additions.
Just a little one. The JCB backhoe at the old garage, we keep getting flat tires, so we plug the tire and fill it up, but not a big deal buying tires for it. But the thing's pretty old. I mean, we gotta start thinking of a game plan for our equipment, replacements or whatever's gonna happen. So I mean, we could easily put tires on, but it's just something we gotta start thinking of.
How's it run?
replacing
Does
things.
it run all right? I mean,
It-
it starts up
It
and
starts and runs
functions?
sometimes. We gotta keep it always plugged in, even not for just to charge the battery. Battery's fine. So I'm not sure if it's the start or some kind of drawer on it that just can't
How
fire it
old's the
up.
cat?
Cat is a 2009. The
So that's a
JCB's
bit-
a 1996.
So that's a backup machine.
Yes.
How many hours on the cat?
Like 3,000.
Didn't we roll the last one over at one point? Didn't we, the machine we had before the cat, we had a cat before the cat, right?
No, I brought it up several years ago that we do like a 10-year rotation.
Yeah,
So when the cat's 10, we move that and then get the other one that's 20, we replace the 20-year-old, so they're always 10 years old. That was my thinking.
I agree. I think we ought to look at capital, kind of, some sort of put together some sort of a capital plan, because you have to think about trucks, machinery and
Because
whatnot.
we need a pickup truck. The Ford we got is not good, it's getting pretty rusty and...
Well, let me put my 2 cents in on that. Sometimes it's a lot cheaper to spend a few dollars. Not that we're not gonna get a new one, I need a new one, I'm just telling you.
Mhm.
To repair something, to spend $100 grand for a machine.
100?
Well, I'm going on a junk
Probably
machine,
140
like
or
a
50
cat.
now, right?
Cat's
Yeah.
a piece of
Through the
junk, so
roof.
it's 100. But, you know,
Like
I
that,
mean,
though.
I've got my stuff
Really?
that's a lot older than that, and runs all the time.
Yeah.
But of course, I can't afford a new one like municipalities but, you know, it's just that I can't see replacing anything that would take a few bucks a fix and get it back, especially where it's a second machine.
Yeah.
But, you know, get rid of that one, you mean, and use the cat for a second machine and
Yeah, something like
naturally
that.
would
But
be
I was
the first
actually
one.
more on the line of changing get like a loader, a small loader or something, so we can load the truck. Because it's tough loading the truck. The bucket of those barely
Yeah.
gets on top.
Yeah.
So it's tough. So that's why I was thinking, a game plan of maybe not replacing it with the exact same thing, maybe a different.
Well, you can buy a JCB that's an all-wheel drive loader backhoe machine with all the tires the same size. And
Oh,
set it
yeah,
up
I've
for
seen
you.
those, yeah.
Those,
Or
you
you
know.
could buy some Jersey barriers and make a little ramp.
Yeah, that's true.
ain't
But
bad,
not when
yeah.
you're on the job.
Well,
a dump truck.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I'm talking
Yeah.
like the JCBs down there to
Oh,
take
yeah,
sand
yeah.
when they need it on a break.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Well,
really
he's talking
doesn't...
about loading it with the backhoe or with the loader?
with the loader, that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like when we go down the wells and load sand down to the wells for the brakes.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's 14, 15 buckets,
Mm-hmm.
the backhoe to load the truck, so it takes a while. But no big deal.
If you want to put together something and present it to
Yeah.
us, what you feel we have for equipment, and what we want to
Yeah, I
try to...
don't, nothing extreme, I mean, just,
Get us some prices on some stuff,
okay.
you know, so instead of just a cat.
How much can you buy sand for?
Yeah, but
Well,
you
it all depends who
can't...
you get it from.
I'm not talking septic sand,
Oh.
No,
backfill sand.
but 2 o'clock in the morning, when he has a water main break,
Well,
who's
you-
going to open their store?
Well, you call up Graves and you have, hey, listen, it's $6 a yard, it's $8 a yard delivered. You bring 100, 200 yards down there and you have them dump it.
Up it on the hill up there, that's what we made that for.
When you run low, you call, hey, Graves, bring me another 5 more loads.
Let's talk it over.
Okay.
Not today, though.
Oh, yeah, it
Sounds
was just
good.
something, just to open
Yeah,
your mind, just
yeah.
keep,
Okay, we have anything else for additions? No. Any public comment?
How are we doing financially?
Great, all the money in the world. We're getting our COVID money in from the government.
So I don't need a new backhoe.
Actually, very good, because last year with the COVID, everybody was home, they used a ton of water, so last year was probably the highest revenues we've ever had. And then even this year, until this wet time, it was on the same par. I mean, so it was doing really good, so.
What rate are we getting for the bonds?
It came in at
2.08.
It's a hell of a rate. A hell of a rate.
Pretty cheap, too. Huh, Dave?
Yeah. You're right on, John. Yeah.
I know. Well, I listen to you. You're a good mentor.
No, I know. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, it just went out today.
Huh?
It just went out today.
What went out?
The bond went out to bid.
Oh, so we don't have a rate of 2.0.
Yeah, they just
They
went out
just
today.
approved
just came
everything.
in.
The bids just came in this morning.
Okay. So the
Unibank
rate-
called
Okay.
with the three banks
And
that,
how many years?
what is it, six? No.
40.
No.
We went 39. Because we can't do 40.
Okay, I'd have to look at that. I didn't think it was.
We were tossing 30s and 40s
Yeah.
for terms.
Yeah. Normally, I would be against something like that, conventional wisdom, right? You know, but that kind of rate, you know, I have no problem with going 30-plus years.
It's definitely 30 or more.
That's fine, that's all I have.
All right.
Yeah, next week we'll be having David from Eisenfeld from Unibank will be here.
Mhm.
And we'll have all the paperwork. We'll have all the details. It literally all just happened today, and
Yep.
so by next Wednesday we'll have everything together for the commissioners to sign.
Great. All right, I'd accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We're done. Thank you.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.